clear of the field, and they beat Wigan 35-24 on Good Friday in April. They were 20-0 up at half-time. Let's take a check on the way the two sides line up, pretty much at full strength. Radlinski is the fullback, Dallas returns, Renoff, Johnson and Carney. Johns is fit alongside Lamb. Cowie replaces the man he collided with in the front row last week, Terry O'Connor. Terry watching at home, as Bill Arthur says, we wish him well. Terry Newton and Harvey Howard complete the front row. It's Mick Cassidy and David Ferner in the second row, and Andy Farrell will lock the scrum, the captain. And on the bench, Dennis Betts, Francis Stevenson, Chris Chester and young David Hodgson, coach Stuart Raper. Lovely summer's evening now here in Wigan, and the Bulls arrive with Michael Withers fit at full-back. Tavita Vicona, Graham Mackay, Lee Gilmore once of Wigan and Leon Price. Henry Paul, of course, once of Wigan alongside brother Robbie, the captain. And the forwards, Joe Vanganar, James Lowes, Brian McDermott, Daniel Gartner, Jamie Peacock, Shane Rigon replaces the injured Mike Forshaw at loose forward. And the bench occupied by Paul Deacon, Paul Anderson, Lee Radford and Stuart Fielden. Coach is Brian Noble. So therefore, well, they have quite an act to follow after last Friday. Saints and Wigan was breathtaking from start to finish. Pitch is in magnificent order. Wonderful night, the rain has cleared, the sun is out, and here we go, the top two in Super League, locking horns. And Brian McDermott driving it in and being driven back by Terry Newton. That has set the standard. Here's big Joe Vanganar, and the Wigan forwards are hunting.
Well,
Two tackles gone.
They've heard so much about this Bradford pack, the awesome foursome they call in themselves. But look at the defence there.
Now, Wakefield has been a marvelous ambassador for baseball. He's very active, his entire family in charities in the Boston area, and really beloved every time he pitches it.
99 the Bulls, 2000 Wigan, so both will have designs on the grand final this year. And the Bulls, well, they're 4 points clear of the field, and they beat Wigan 35-24 on Good Friday in April. They were 20-0 up at half-time. Let's take a check on the way the two sides line up, pretty much at full strength. Radlinski is the fullback, Dallas returns, Renoff, Johnson and Carney. Johns is fit alongside Lamb. Cowie replaces the man he collided with in the front row last week, Terry O'Connor. Terry watching at home, as Bill Arthur says, we wish him well. Terry Newton and Harvey Howard complete the front row. It's Mick Cassidy and David Ferner in the second row, and Andy Farrell will lock the scrum, the captain. And on the bench, Dennis Betts, Francis Stevenson, Chris Chester and young David Hodgson, coach Stuart Raper. Lovely summer's evening now here in Wigan, and the Bulls arrive with Michael Withers fit at full-back. Tavita Vicona, Graham Mackay, Lee Gilmore once of Wigan and Leon Price. Henry Paul, of course, once of Wigan alongside brother Robbie, the captain. And the forwards, Joe Vanganar, James Lowes, Brian McDermott, Daniel Gartner, Jamie Peacock, Shane Rigon replaces the injured Mike Forshaw at loose forward. And the bench occupied by Paul Deacon, Paul Anderson, Lee Radford and Stuart Fielden. Coach is Brian Noble. So therefore, well, they have quite an act to follow after last Friday. Saints and Wigan was breathtaking from start to finish. Pitch is in magnificent order. Wonderful night, the rain has cleared, the sun is out, and here we go, the top two in Super League, locking horns. And Brian McDermott driving it in and being driven back by Terry Newton. That has set the standard. Here's big Joe Vanganar, and the Wigan forwards are hunting.
Well,
Two tackles gone.
They've heard so much about this Bradford pack, the awesome foursome they call in themselves. But look at the defence there. Both sides mean business. It's always great to just get a feel of the football. This should be a good kick. It has to be, to apply the pressure.
It's a heck of a kick, but Radlinski was up to the task, and now Wigan have first use of the football, and he is met by fearsome defence from Shane Rigon.
Good position there by Chris Radlinski, fully aware of the fact that they will perhaps be kicking to Brian Carney. They'd feel perhaps he may be a little bit of a weak link there. But the fullback Radlinski, he went over to make sure he could take that kick.
Well, you saw the shadows lengthening here at the JJB Stadium, and we made a particular reference to the toss that Bradford won and made Wigan defend against that sunshine, but perhaps it won't be as significant as it might have been. That's a beautiful ball. Johnson is away. He's got Radlinski. He's got Newton. He's got Newton and Radlinski, and it's first blood to the Warriors. It's taken them a minute and a half, and Wigan have breached the Bradford defence. What a brilliant inside pass. Johnson carried it forward. The ball from Newton. Newton was in the thick of it. He provided the last ball, and Brian Noble, it's not the start he would have wanted, but it's absolutely the start that Radlinski and Wigan wanted. Raper's off to a flyer again, and Wigan lead 4-0 and kick next to the posts to come.
Great tactics, keep the ball out wide, expecting the exchanges. The beautiful pass to Johnson. It came from Matthew Johns, and as every good hooker should support, he did, and put the full-back Radlinski in. There was doubt about the fitness of Radlinski, but he's shown it there. Paul Johnson breaks into overtime. Nothing that Withers could do about that. That's what happens when you support the man carrying the football. You're rewarded with a try.
Andy Farrell reaches 90 goals for the season. Chris Radlinski has reached 15 tries for the season. Super League's top try scorer has added to his tally, and Wigan are off to a belting start. Radlinski, remember, it was his last gasp try last year that won the Classic here, 20 points to 19. Well, he has got Wigan away and up and running, and that will settle the confidence.
Whew, that was absolutely sensational. The pass on the inside to Paul Johnson. He was through the gap. Exhilarating. That set the scene.
Well, the forwards had laid the platform, and then it was left to the backs to get on with it. And the referee wants a clean fight around the ruck. He doesn't want any of this Gartner and Regon holding Harvey Howard down.
Well, this is a reason, Eddie, why I pointed that Russell Smith, for my mind, is #1 in this country at the moment, is because he's cleaned up all the mess that we've had at the early start of this season in and around the ruck and the play the ball area. And that can only mean one thing: we get a far better game, far better spectacle. That's what the crowds want.
Well, he did a great job at Knowsley Road last week, and he set his stall out early as well. Ferner, lovely pass. And here is Johnson again. And Wigan, alarmingly really for Bradford, getting this ball away in the tackle pretty easily. There's Lamb. Here is Howard again. Harvey Howard driving forward. Good run from the big prop.
Great meters forward, over the advantage line. Then they start to whip it out wide yet again.
Renoff from Farrell. Mackay is there, so too is Tavita Vicona. Mackay gets up, Renoff gets to his feet. Mick Cassidy is the dummy half, and he'll have a little scoot away, taking on Brian McDermott and Jamie Peacock. That's the last tackle for Wigan. Newton to Lamb, and it goes wide to Johns. They're attacking and running on the last. It's a beautiful ball.
It's going to be play on. That was touch, was it? He's played the first knock on. No advantage, turnover. Well, he's not happy, Brian Noble, and rightly so. They're getting over the advantage line. Bradford not using the sliding defence as yet. They're working a man-on-man marker. It was a neat little kick through, and to be fair, I thought perhaps that the Wigan player just slightly offside.
Offside against Andy Farrell. Nowhere near 10 metres to play the ball. A quick tap taken by Henry Paul. Good play from Henry there. Now then, Vicona from dummy half. Farrell's after Harvey Howard's after him.
Arm from Newton. Vicona just ducked underneath it.
Here's Michael Withers.
Get back!
And Stuart Raper looking concerned, despite the fact that it's 6-0. A scream for a forward pass, and from up here it never was. That's good hands, but just went behind Lee Gilmore. Dallas has swooped, and Gilmore did well.
Try saver that from Gilmore, it had to be.
It's a knock-on, it's a knock-on. He's given head and feet to Bradford. He thinks it came off a Wigan arm.
Cowie just questioning the decision. You see clearly here, the quick hand. Oh, I think they're badly done to there. I really don't think that Dallas got anywhere near it.
Big call from Russell Smith.
Oh, I don't think he got anywhere near that. The deflection actually came away from the right hand of Lee Gilmore. I think they've been badly done to.
Well, the referee has had a discussion with David Furner, and he is convinced, Russell Smith, that he has made the right decision, having watched what we had on the big screen. Wigan aren't.
I don't think he gets anywhere near to it. No, his hand was about 2¼ inches off.
Lovely ball from Henry Paul to Michael Withers. Withers has got the legs on Newton. Oh, we're underway. Withers gets the try. Boos echo around the stadium. The Wigan fans believe that that should never have been a scrum, but from the scrum, Bradford has scorched in for the try with Withers. Well, we promised you fireworks. They always say that every time we promise you, we take a big chance. But we know Super League, don't we, Steve-O?
Certainly do. Controversial decision from the referee. It was a neat little just offload. He really took this ball standing still, but didn't he get into overdrive quickly? They're back with a vengeance. This is the incident where the referee, Russell Smith, I feel got it wrong. And from the build-up, from the scrum, you can see they kept it alive. Acres of space there through the dummy, and he was stood still. They really should have closed it down. Cassidy was the culprit. He was left leaden-footed. Withers in for the try. Whoa!
And from bang in front, Henry Paul, who wastes no time, just scoops it over the top of the crossbar. It's level pegging again here in Wigan. It's 6 apiece, and Michael Withers, who has said he would like to play for Great Britain in the test matches against Australia. He's Australian born, but he's an Irish international, and he might well have an EU passport, and if that is the case, Michael Withers would qualify. And Farrell and referee Russell Smith continue the debate about the legality of that scrum. It's in the scoreboard, it's in the books now, nothing will change it. And here comes Leon Price for the Bulls.
Well, let's not take anything away from the beautiful offload, Henry Paul, but Stuart Raper, the Wigan coach, will be furious over that. They really should have closed in, because when Withers took that ball, he wasn't running at all, standing still. And from a standing start, you should never beat any defence. Proved it wrong.
James Lowe switches the direction of the attack, and Rigon was the man who received the pass and the tackle from Harvey Howard. Here now is Robbie Paul, fires along past to brother Henry, and then the dab down the line. It bounces a yard infield, and well, he's not too impressed with it. He was under pressure from Farrell, though, had to hurry.
Well, he'll settle for it. Didn't go out on the full, which is the thing that he would be complaining about.
Big battle tonight between Henry Paul and Andy Farrell. Henry Paul 94 goals, 201 points coming into this. Andy Farrell 90 goals including the 1-pointers, 211 points coming into this. He's now got 213 points, of course.
They're all over the park, Eddie.
Oh, this, yes. Great contests everywhere. And Brian Carney, the man who pulled off that wondrous tackle in the match at St Helens last week to deny Anthony Sullivan. He's got his hamstring heavily bandaged, but he's out there, and here's Harvey Howard. Good run from Howard over the top of the first tackler, Gartner, but couldn't get away from Rigon. Now then, Matthew Johns again, hauled down, Lowe's, Henry Paul, last one.
Bradford defence, they're hanging back, they're really not moving forward. They're allowing the Wigan attacking ploys too much latitude. That's a good chase.
Yes, Withers had nowhere to go. Lamb leading the chase with Cassidy. Here's Vicona now.
Furner looks to have picked up a knock. Got a stray boot, did he? Doesn't look well, he's on his haunches. Slowly just getting back into the line. Wigan down to 12 virtually.
They are, and that ball is gobbled up by Mick Cassidy. Ryan McDermott, the man who lost it, fierce challenge from Neil Cowie, and here come Wigan now with Farrell, who straightens it up. who thought about the offload and then saw that Robbie Paul was looking for the interception.
Well, Brian McDermott lost that football because he used both arms to try to buffer off the would-be tackler and lost possession.
Werner is coming off the field as Wigan's attack builds, and here now is Newton. He gets it away to Lamb, and Lamb skips through two, and he's bleeding badly is Werner. Penalty against Joe Vangenaar. He was lying all over the top of Adrian Lamb, and the referee's given Wigan the penalty right under the sticks.
Well, Russell Smith is getting the message out quick, smart, and that is great to see. Ryan Noble perhaps may not agree with me, but he'll feel a lot better with the fact that they hit back with that Withers try. Forward Joe Vangenaar, not too impressed at the decision. There was little doubt that he was messing around the play-the-ball area, and it is quite clear now to everybody that the merry whistleblower will not put up with it. This should be a gift.
Should be. Joe Vangenaar in the newspapers this morning was linked with Canterbury Bulldogs for next year, but well, Canterbury Bulldogs appear to me to be involved with everybody who's available at the moment.
I'm waiting for the call.
Don't worry, we'll put one in. 11.5 minutes have gone. It's 6-all, and this kick should be meat and drink for Andy Farrell.
Should be.
And is. No problems there for Farrell. It's 8-6 to Wigan. Pretty tight here, and you would expect it to be. The Wigan side have won 5 of 6 under Stuart Raper. A win would put them in with a real chance of finishing top of the table again for the 3rd time in 4 years.
That could be an important 2 points, as was that drop goal just before half-time last week against St Helens. The importance, of course, only unfolded until the dying seconds. They hung on, did the Warriors, but I'm a little bit concerned, and I'm sure that Brian Noble is the way that this Bradford defence is not getting out of the blocks. They're hesitating and waiting to see what the Wigan attack is about to do.
They were out of the blocks then because Rigon hit Howard very early before he got into his stride, and they're starting to work hard now, and Dallas tries to get away from the tacklers and does. Wigan crowd appealing for a penalty every time their man goes down. It's quick play the balls though, and Russell Smith has set the agenda out here. Ball back on the inside from Farrell to Radlinski. Good defence here from Bradford. Maybe Brian Noble has got the word down to them. Farrell, big hit by Peacock. Mackay there as well to help bring him down. Last one, good defence from Bradford then. Wigan penned inside their own half. The kick here from Adrian Lamb, the Papua New Guinea international. The man who this time last year, of course, was captain in Queensland in the state of origin. And his place in the Queensland side this year taken by Alan Langer of the Warrington Wolves. And we'll see him on Sunday morning in the State of Origin decider.
What odds would you have got on that?
Oh, it's never been done before, has it?
An unbelievable psychological ploy by Bennett, the Queensland coach. That'll be a good game too.
Castleford 6 leads 0, quarter of an hour gone at the Jungle. Stuart Raper's old club with the upper hand at the moment against Leeds, and they won on Sky last Saturday against Salford, remember. It's the Bradford Bulls here though. Gartner, he gets the pass away brilliantly. Robbie Paul, he had 2 on the overlap. Henry finds them eventually. This is Gilmore. Flicked inside, play on again. Gartner hit by Newton, not finished off. Ball flicks up, that's touched by Newton. It's going to be 6 to go. Vangenaar with the drive in. That's a knock on. Oh, Bradford have wasted it.
Golden opportunity. Robbie's saying that what about the advantage, even though there was a knock on. This is the incident where it was flicked up.
And Henry Paul has said something out of turn to Russell Smith. The scrum now has turned into a penalty.
That was classified as a knock on. He didn't agree with it, said a few more words. I keep mentioning it, and it really does irritate me, and I'm sure it must irritate this fella, that they are giving away penalties for indiscipline. And when it comes to crunch games like this, you cannot afford. They had Wigan on the rack, now all that has gone. Just because someone wants to think he's bigger than the official.
David Ferner went off with blood streaming from his head, and Bill Arthur has the news of him.
He's a tough cookie, is David Furner. The initial diagnosis was that he was going to need stitches, but in actual fact he's just had a great blob of Vaseline daubed all over his head, and he's ready to come back on. He's standing on the sideline very impatiently looking for his opportunity to get back on, and he's even got a bang on his knee as well, which is causing him trouble, but he's shaken that off as well.
Tough cookie, not the best ball from Renoff. Vicona has got it. That was behind Brian Carney, so Vicona has it on halfway for Bradford. Here is Peacock. The ball was stolen and
Back
stolen again.
Good refereeing there from Russell Smith. Bit scrappy at the moment. And Henry Paul trying to milk the penalty.
And that was the view of the referee, Russell Smith, as well.
Well, when you've just given him a mouthful, I don't think you're going to get the referee on your side.
Peacock trying to run over the top of Cassidy. Cassidy and Renoff with the tackle. James Lowes, Henry Paul, wide to brother Robbie. Further wide it goes to Wigan. Oh, well, there was no one around him. That's an unforced error. And Furner's waiting to come back on with a blob of jelly on his head. And now he does come on. And the blood bin's reversed. Dennis Betts will come off.
Just took his eyes off the football at the very last second. Just had a little glimpse. He could see Matthew Johns coming towards him. A golden opportunity just wasted yet again. It must be hard times for Brian Noble at the moment.
Wigan in possession then, defending one of only 2 unbeaten home records in the Super League. The Bulls, coincidentally, hold the other. And it's 1 defeat in the last 14 home meetings against Bradford for Wigan. So, history very much on the side of the men in cherry and white. Bradford will be at home against Hull FC next Friday at 7:30, defending that unbeaten home record. We'll be watching it here on Sky Sports 3 again next Friday, 7:30.
We just keep churning them out, don't we? Big game after big game.
Last tackle here for Wigan. And Johns hoists a high bomb. Withers, who did well to get that, was swirling about. Just checked himself.
Pretty difficult to take a ball when you've got your back to the opposition. You've got no idea who's coming on you. But he did exceptionally well.
Pretty safe, isn't he? Steve, what about this Great Britain conundrum and Michael Withers? Would you be in favour?
Well, he qualifies, and if he qualifies and the way he's been playing, yeah, he would make a good acquisition as a squad player. I'm not so sure that he could oost the man that he's playing against tonight. I think Radlinski is odds on. But I'm not the coach.
Last tackle for Bradford. Referee shouting 5. There's a high hanger for from Henry Paul for Radlinski, and that's why Chris Radlinski, you would believe, is one of the names in ink in the Great Britain register for full-back.
That was a great take, under a lot of pressure indeed. Eyes on the football at all time. Took no notice of the man on rushing.
Here's Carney.
I must say the Bulls have tightened up their defence. They're a little bit iffy in the opening 10 minutes.
Big game, of course, on Sunday. Just to remind you again, State of Origin 3, The Decider, is live and exclusive, so it's nowhere else. 10:30, the ANZ Stadium. Join a sellout crowd and join Chris Warren, Phil Clark for coverage of that. And we also have Adrian Lamb, who just at that moment puts the kick in over the top here for Wigan.
Well weighted too. Now they're now going to chase. By corner under pressure, offloads there to Withers, and well, they're a little bit slow there, Wigan.
Well, Adrian Lamb there, our guest on Sunday morning, was leading the chase. Here is Leon Price now. Nice little step from Price. Tackled by Lamb. He's all over the place at the moment. Here's Wigan.
Well, it's changed around, isn't it? It was Wigan that was bossing everything from the dummy half and then taking good yardage forward. Now it's Bradford.
Good step from Robbie Paul, and it was a very timely tackle from Terry Newton. Lowe's to Henry Paul. It goes wide to Graham Mackay. He's got Vicona on his inside. It was over-elaborate, I'm afraid. And Wigan have it back in the shape of Mick Cassidy.
Graham Mackay had already gone. The horse had bolted, tried to drag it in. It was an awful pass on the inside. He come far too early at Vicona.
Cowie offloads. Renoff gets the ball away, almost tennis style, to Radlinski, and Gartner with a very good tackle. He knows there's a long way to go yet. Still an hour of this match. We're at the midway point of this first half. Offload from Perner to Newton. Good hands. Here's Farrell. Now Cassidy fills the hole.
Good work there from McDermott. Made sure that Cassidy couldn't offload. He had someone on the inside.
This is Farrell. He is dragged to the ground, and that's the last tackle for Wigan.
Now they will kick to the corner.
And they will. It's a tester for Leon Price. Is it too deep? Bounced off the Bradford man.
It's in whitewash, head and feet.
Now then, did Leon Price make a play for it? That's the decision they have to make.
But he's never played it, so it's blue head
No.
and feet. Okay.
On the replay there, you can see that it was Dallas that
Never played it.
deliberately went for the ball, and then the ball hits the man, so this will be head and feet to Bradford. They've got it right.
Yes, the touch judge's call there.
And he was right.
Dallas knocked it forward anyway.
Yep. So the ball played the man.
He's missed the last 5 as Brett Dallas, another Queenslander who will be glued to his TV on Sunday morning. Injured against Hull was Brett Dallas in Stuart Raper's first match in charge. Here's Mackay again. And, well...
Ooh, Cassidy's out. Cassidy went in very awkward into that tackle. Caught a stray knee.
And he's just moving now, so he is hopefully okay, but obviously seeing stars at the moment.
Went down awkward. Just caught the knee and the thigh of the big fella. Just went in a little bit awkward into the tackle. Not so sure whether the elbow glanced him. Maybe, but either way.
He comes off, and that is good to see. And Stuart Raper passing the information down to the touchline, and Billy McGinty.
Great run from Robbie Paul there. Swinging arm from Harvey Howard. Quite a few of those. They haven't made contact. Not from Harvey Howard, of course, but quite a few of the players out there.
Harvey, don't swing it. 5.
Lowe's on the last. Bradford are running it with Henry Paul, and now it's with Jamie Peacock. He tries to get the pass away and does, and it goes from Paul Anderson straight into the arms of Dennis Betts.
Well, that was stupid play.
Well, they were caught in possession on the last tackle.
But even so, they should have set themselves up for the kick. They really shouldn't put themselves in a panic situation like that. Betts read it well, put himself in front of Henry Paul.
8-6. Betts on, as we saw, for Cassidy.
I'm just wondering, Eddie, when Brian Noble will perhaps introduce Paul Deacon. Both defences are well on top at the moment. And it'll need something different, and that will be it.
Yes, it was provided there, and here's Carney. He's too quick for Mike Kona. Carney's in. And again, Adrian Lamb with a beautiful short ball. Oh, he's gone for the screen.
Ball down. I know his arm was down.
Did he get the ball grounded before his feet just went over the dead ball line? No. Surely he did.
Well, I think he did, yeah. There it is. No problem. And about 4 foot to spare. And that's a try. And 4 foot later comes a whitewash. TRY time.
Yeah,
no problem.
Russell Smith's apologising to the video ref. He's just called on anyway to give the decision. The Irish international Brian Carney, that great tackle on Sullivan now, is consigned to the memory bank. They'll be all talking about his try against the Bulls.
Beautiful work from the halfback on the blind side. Sucked them in. Daniel Gardner, it was, that went for the dummy. And when Lamb got it away, Betts went through an enormous gap. Gardner was left in no man's land. Soon as Withers had to complete the tackle, Carney in for a try. A vital one too.
Yes, Brian Carney, he withdrew from the Irish squad against France on Tuesday. He didn't face the Bulls last year, missed all 3 when he was in Hull's colours. Well, he's beginning to make a name for himself here at Wigan. Farrell to add the extras, no problem. 2 more points to Farrell, and the Wigan total 14. Bradford have 6.
Looks simple, but it's all skill. Lamb attracts the second rower. Gardner. Betts goes through a huge gap. keeps his cool. Soon as a fullback commits, Carney in for a try. That set the JJB alight.
It was a memorable moment for him last week, that tackle, and there's something else he will be able to think about. And there's young Paul Deacon, who's waiting to make his 100th career appearance. And when will he be introduced by Brian Noble? Knock on by Johnson. Bradford pick it up and carry on, says the referee. It's with Gartner.
Well, it surprises me that more teams don't try that. Bradford, they're past masters at it. They also do the spinning kick from the kickoffs as well. That was a short one. They got away with it. Johnson came up with a mistake. Now they've got to try to post it. They've got to try to get back into this game.
Well, it would be the perfect response, and Mackay has all the strength, and that's why there are three there to halt him.
Pretty flat pass.
Lowe's to Henry Paul, and it goes wide, and here is Rigon. He's lost the ball.
Great slide in defence. Good tackle there from Brett Dallas, and the mistakes are creeping up. Sorry, it was Johnson. My apologies. Dallas went over the top. Went pretty high as well, right into the face.
And Brian Noble's heart fell to his boots as that ball fell to the ground.
Well, that's the third or fourth time that they've squandered a good position. And you've got to play percentages in this game.
Wigan are back in possession then. Let's go down to the side and join Phil Clark. Phil, is it a question of Bradford not shaping up in another major match?
Well, quite interestingly, today Radlinski's first try was the first time in Super League where Bradford haven't scored the first try. They love to get off to a good start, and an early try for them usually adds to their confidence. But I do think that Wigan made a conscious effort to match them in the middle. Cowie and Howard were very strong, and as were the other players. They knew they had to match up and measure up to their opponents. Ivy Howard's just come off and Stevenson on now, and really the test is, can they maintain it? I thought they might just be tiring, but that try from Brian Carney's given them a lift in this phase really where I thought Bradford were just slightly getting on top.
Farrell thought about a 40-20 there, but instead punted it right down the middle of the field, and Leon Price has it now for Bradford. Price running flat, gives it then to Vicona. A little hole opens up for Vicona. He steps out of one. He can't step out of Newton's tackle though.
Good work from the winger there, Eddie. But the most important factor, Stuart Raper sent out the big fella Francis Stevenson. There's no doubt in my mind that Stuart wants to play cautious. Nothing outrageous, nothing fancy. They've got a decent lead. Let's just try to calm things down. Put the pressure now with their defence.
Bradford threatening here with Michael Withers. And it gets the ball away, but it went backwards, says the referee, so play on.
Well, I'm not so sure the first momentum wasn't going forward.
Bradford still have it though with Daniel Gartner.
It was pretty close to it, was Russell Smith. About 2 metres away from the action. But that looked as though the first knock on.
Paul with a little kick, it's not the best.
Wasted.
Radlinski was waiting to gobble that up. Well, let's get the medical bulletin on Mick Cassidy now. Bill?
It's good news, Eddie. He came off looking very groggy indeed, but a quick whiff of the smelling salts, and Mick Cassidy seems to be coming round. He just got nothing worse than a bang on the head. He's sitting in the dugout at the moment, and he is perking up a great deal, and the Wigan doctor says that he should be able to go back on later in the game if needed.
That's good news for Wigan, good news for Bradford here. They've put a good set of 5 tackles together. Cassidy is just beginning to remember where he is.
Oh, this is magical stuff. Oh, knock on from Johnson.
You put the mockers on him.
That was magical rugby league football. He really should have taken that in, Paul Johnson. Good work from the big second row of Furner.
Maybe he should have let it go to Dallas. Maybe it was a pass intended for the wing.
He should have got that, seriously. Well, maybe harsh. Oh, things are happening at Viva Las Cas Vegas, eh?
Viva Las Cas Vegas. Okay.
Unbelievable. The lights are going on out there.
18-6, the Tigers up against the Rhinos. Withers cuts inside. Well, I was going to say Farrell, he nearly did. He got the pass away.
That'll be play on.
It was pinched by Dennis Betts.
Good play from Betts. But again, this must be driving Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, absolutely insane. trying to get the ball away. They got it right, but you can see there that Betts dislodged the ball, but it did go backwards. You can do that one-on-one. He's a worried man.
And so he should be, because Wigan are looking pretty enthusiastic at the moment. And Farrell takes the fourth tackle, plays the ball to Newton. Here now is Adrian Lamb, and it's short to Francis Stevenson, who has been apparently jumping out of the hoops to play under Stuart Raper. This is his first appearance under Stuart Raper. The kick to the in-goal area, Radlinski's after it. Radlinski gets to Vicona, who manages to slip the ball to Withers. And
Well, Radlinski should come back and shout at every one of his colleagues and say, where on earth were you? He was there, he was a lone ranger. Tonto nowhere in sight. Was Tonto with a lone ranger? Well,
yes, it was Kemosabe, you're absolutely right.
was he the one with the silver bullets? No, that was a lone ranger, was it? I don't know. Tex Ritter?
Oh, you're going back into the history books now.
Great defence, and again sloppy play. Oh dearie me, it is just not going right. Jamie Peacock, he was under pressure, to be fair. Reniff was hanging around, but this mistake rate.
Well, we are talking about Tex Ritter, the Lone Ranger, and Tonto, but this is a night for superheroes, and I'm afraid Bradford's superheroes have not come to the party yet.
Well, you saw the face on Brian Noble there.
7 minutes, Joe.
I think his endorphins have just deserted him. They've gone.
Stay the back, lads.
They're not playing as we know they can.
But he looks pained, Eddie, doesn't he?
Well, they're only 8 points adrift, to be fair, and it's only 31 minutes gone, so I suppose in terms of damage limitation at the moment, he won't be too worried, but he'd be worried by the fact that they're making so many unforced errors.
Wait.
Well, we thought when they won the Challenge Cup up there in Edinburgh that perhaps the monkey had got off their back. There was always criticism as the fact that they couldn't handle the big pressure games, and there's no bigger than this one.
And look at Lamb, he's having a whirl of a game, gets the ball away again off the deck. Newton dumps it down, and that's into the arms of Henry Paul.
Trying to keep it alive, just a little bit too fancy, but yes, you're right. Adrian Lamb, who slowly but surely took a while to get into the English condition and English style, but he's tearing them apart at the moment. They need something absolutely desperate. Could this be it from the Bulls?
That was a beautiful run and ball from Vicona to Lowe's. Oh, and Lowe's doesn't like the attention from Newton.
The touch judge is on.
He's seen a little dig, I think, from Lowe's on Newton. Or was it the other way round? It depends on the referee and touch judge and the report he receives now.
Now all retaliates. I think that Lowe's has gone in with the elbow, no doubt about that. And I think that Newton slapped the ball.
It's going to be a penalty to Wigan.
You've given it away, you've got to keep them out.
Well, I thought he slapped the ball, he didn't. It was an open hand into the face of Lowe's. And so often, as is the case, the retaliator pays the price. But really, Eddie, we have not seen anything from this man during the course of this first 32 minutes. That's the first real run we've seen him. The first time he's coming to action.
And Newton has certainly overshadowed him.
Certainly has. But the thing is that Bradford can't afford to do that. Wigan with commanding lead in the penalty count. So in discipline, remember, one of those was from Henry Paul back-chatting. He's got a lot to do as Brian Noble at the half-time break. He knows that they're out of sorts.
They're 7 minutes away from that half-time, and Wigan will look to rub in their advantage even further now. And they're in the perfect position to try and do that, and they have it with Lamb, but he just slipped as he went to greet Paul Anderson.
Quite a few have slipped, Eddie. Of course, this is a new surface here, isn't it, to the JJB?
Yes, it is. Short ball.
That'll be the knock-on.
It'll be the knock-on against Wigan.
No advantage, head and feet to the Bulls, and that is a relief. And Robbie Paul is laying the law down, and he should do as well. There was a bit of a hospital pass there from Farrell. Johnson going right into the face of Shane Rigon. But they just have not got the momentum going out of the Bulls.
Not yet. 102 tries scored this year.
Well, they call him the awesome foursome. A bit like the lonesome foursome at the moment.
The Lonesome Pines, but look at this from Henry Paul. The awesome foursome, by the way, that Steve-O keeps referring to as Bradford get the penalty, is Vangenaar, McDermott, Anderson and Fielden. They are the awesome foursome.
Well, I pose a question midweek in our show, Eddie, to Robbie Paul. What do you call the other two? They must feel left out.
He is one of them, the awesome four. Anderson. They're 30 metres away. Lows down the short side to Peacock. 10 hard metres earned.
Well, if the Bulls don't score before half-time, psychologically, I think Wigan will just take control yet again when they come out for the restart. It is so important psychological for the Bulls to score before half-time.
Robbie Paul knows it. Oh, Gartner's got another one.
Stay. Deary, deary, deary me today.
This is like the grand final a couple of years ago.
That is incredible. Really wasn't put under pressure from Adrian Lamb, and Brian Noble can't bear to witness what his side is throwing up. And I say throwing up because they are unsettled.
Stay in, Paul.
Less than 5 to go to half-time. Maybe it's just the Wigan air that Bradford don't like. One victory here in 14 meetings, but look at that, that's amazing. The handling errors are all square, and it seems to have been that Bradford have been making them all. You're not keeping count, are you? Because I know you can't get past 9.
Well, I must say, yeah, you know I never get to double figures. But I must say, Eddie, that the fact is that when Bradford is spilling the football or doing stupid things, it's when they are in a good attacking position. They really have not got a roll on. Their completion rate is poor.
This fellow's having a great game. Lamb and good support from Newton. 3 outside him. Withers got to him. Oh, what a pass! Radlinski's in. Radlinski's in. Second try for Chris Radlinski. A beautiful ball from Terry Newton, and Brian Noble's problems begin to mount. Radlinski with a sensational try, but put it down to a wonderful pass. First of all from Adrian Lamb, and then from Terry Newton.
Well, Lamb is just eating them up. Never mind eating Lamb, he's doing the opposite. Terry Newton, now when he didn't pass out wide, the crowd went, oh! And then he went from oh to oh! Radlinski in. Talk about an inflection. Ooh! Watch! They'll do it! Hear him go up! Ooh! Beautiful pass! Amazing! Radlinski! They're cutting them to ribbons.
Well, I'd like to get a written copy of that piece of commentary. It would make very interesting reading.
It's exciting.
It was.
I enjoyed it.
And so did the Wigan crowd. It's 20 points to 6. 20 points to 6. There is the man with the biggest oohs and ahs in the business. How did it go again?
Ooh! To ooh! He went from ooh to ooh at this end. That's enough.
Radlinski. 7 tries in his last 5 appearances before this match.
Great skills already from Newton.
England against Wales next month for this fellow, and surely Great Britain against the Aussies. Short kick-off. He has it back again.
Oh, there's been a clash of heads.
Not another one.
Yep. Radlinski and Jimmy Lowes.
Oh, Werner now. Hang on, I'm catching the ooze now. Here we go, Farrell.
The shot duck at the moment are the Bulls.
Yes, they very much are, and Wigan have got them on the retreat.
Well, for about 15 minutes, the defence tightened up, but you can see that they're just hanging back yet again. They're waiting to see what Wigan's going to do. And you'll always pay that price when they do that. However, 1 point, yes.
It was a charge down. Well, it wasn't a charge down. It actually just bounced straight into the arm, I think into the chest of Paul Anderson. Or his own man. Oh, it was at his own man, off Cowie's backside.
Yeah, accidental offside. Well, it was Cowie that did the job on Poor old Terrier Connor.
Yes.
And he's just done a job from preventing a one-pointer with the opposite end of his body. He'll be happy.
Little note in the book for Stuart Raper, but he will be happy on this first half display.
What, to get Cowie to get his backside out of the way in future?
They've given the ball away again, but that's a knock on by Newton. It will
That's
be
good
play on.
refereeing.
And here's Robbie Paul. And Robbie Paul tried to get inside Radlinski. It was back off Withers, so play on again, and Radlinski once more with a tackle.
Well, Withers nearly gave himself up there. He stopped running. He thought that the referee was going to call for the knock-on. Withers knew he hadn't dragged it in, but he did not see the official say carry on.
Well, they must score here, Bradford, surely, by Kona.
They have to have any chance.
17 seconds to go, the big clock says it. Henry Paul pops it up to Anderson. He's in. Anderson gets over. Anderson with the try. Bradford have a lifeline. A match that was running away from them. And Paul Anderson, well, totally unstoppable from 5 metres out.
Talk about blasting a light way through the tunnel. Boom, get out of the way. Beautiful combination there. Ball back on the inside. That is sensational play. That's a set pattern. No fluke about that. The big fella Anderson knew that the ball was going to come back on the switch. And he has the power. Believe you me, this guy is strong.
And he got a try here in the playoff defeat last October. And Henry Paul now can get Bradford back again to within 8 points. And a try, a vital try, right on the half-time siren. This will be the last action of the first half. They're back within 8. It's 20 points to 12. And Bradford, they will be pleased, I think, that they are still in the hunt here. And that try in the very last minute from Big Paul Anderson has thrown them the biggest lifeline of the season. And Brian Noble now has something to work at. Radlinski has been all over the field. He's scored 2 of the tries. He has defended magnificently. It's been Wigan's half. They're ahead by 20 points to 12. But in a match of this significance, 8 points is absolutely nothing.
The beautiful pass to keep the balls in it.
And I wonder how important that try on the death of half-time might be. We shall see. 40 minutes to go. Penalty. Rigon all over the ball carrier. I think it was David Furner.
It was a great take. And you could tell the intention from the Bradford side, the short kick-off straight away. Normally sides would kick off at half-time, the restart to put the pressure, kick it deep. But that shows you that they need the football.
Francis Stevenson plays the ball to Terry Newton. He comes down the short side to David Furner. Furner is tackled by Robbie Paul, and also in there very quickly was Rigon as well, who gave away the penalty, from which Wigan have this possession deep in Bradford territory. This is Dennis Betts. They're running the angles brilliantly tonight, Wigan. They're causing confusion in that Bradford defence, and again the referee is having a go at the Bradford tacklers to get up off the tackled man. Here's Carney.
The reason why is
he's able to release the ball, and it's now with Betts again via Farrell.
Just saying it, Eddie, the real reason is that Adrian Lamb is controlling things out there.
And here he is again, and he gives it to Matthew Johns, who straightens it up, flicks it back to Stevenson. On it goes to Cowie. Cowie then wide to Farrell. Farrell then brings Renouf back on the inside. Renouf with all the strength, and he's over again. Almost exactly the same. A minute and a half at the start of the second half. A minute and a half at the start of the match. And Wigan strike what could be a killer blow. Renouf, just the start that Stuart Raper wanted. 14th try of the season for the Queenslander.
Well, you'd have thought Bradford would have learned from that dismal display in the defensive action. And they allowed the ball to be kept alive. See how they stand? They've got to go forward. You've got to get into the faces there. And once Farrell jinked away back on the inside so that Renouf could get through. But look at them just standing away. 3 went in, then they stood off. There's not a finger laid on a Wigan player. Back on the inside. And this is the first time they get anywhere near to him. It's far too late. Bang! Withers and Mackay can't stop him. Renouf. Whoa!
Well, he enjoys playing here, doesn't he, Steve Renouf? His first hat-trick for Wigan against Halifax here not long ago. And he actually scored 12, you know, for the Brisbane Broncos. 12 hat-tricks, that is. Now, Andrew Farrell, maybe this is the most difficult kick he's had tonight. Left-footed, wrong side of the field for him. No, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter where this fella kicks from. He's bang in form, is Andrew Farrell. And Wigan are on the way again.
There you see 3 defenders. Now watch this. Watch how the defence hang away. They watch, then they watch, then they watch again. Bring them back on the inside. Lowe's fails to fill in, should I say. And the only time they get a hand to him, Renouf is going over for the try. This will not please Brian Noble. He's just had them in the dressing room, had plenty of time to talk to them.
And a deep kick-off this time from Henry Paul. Remember, it all went badly wrong from the shallow kick-off, and Renouf over for the try. Steve Renouf, who won 4 grand finals with the Brisbane Broncos, and he's here and believes that he could be winning a grand final with Wigan this year after the disappointment of last October. Right, let's go down to the sideline. Stuart Raper had a wonderful start to the second half. Bill, I wonder what he said to them in the dressing room.
Well, as far as Stuart Raper and Brian Noble goes, they both said virtually the same thing, but Brian Noble will be very disappointed with this start to the second half from his side, because the words he used in that dressing room at half-time apparently were professional suicide, which he thought was what his side was committing in that first 40 minutes by committing so many errors and conceding possession to the Bulls and missing to the Warriors and missing tackles, and the Bulls have got to tighten up in that area and forcing the mistake there. They need more of that. They need the ball back. Stuart Raper obviously pleased to see his side get off to a flying start to the second half, but as you can see from that picture, not happy to see them conceding possession. He knows where the threat from the Bulls is going to come from. The big men, they've got to stay tight in the middle, is the word from the Wigan Warriors camp, because that's where the threat comes from with the Bulls.
Well, what can Bradford make of the possession from this scrum? They must score quickly again. Gilmore, good tackling by Johnson.
Well, I think that's the first time that the centre Lee Gilmore has got a pass, and there's a penalty given away. Johnson interfering, like he did in the first half. Russell Smith says, "I'm the boss," and rightly so. Johnson hanging on to Gilmore, but that really is the first opportunity that the centres have taken it on the fly.
This is Lee Radford. Lee Radford, a substitute at the start of this match, now on the field, as is Fielden. Good tackling by Johns and by Johnson. Lowe's long pass to Robbie Paul. It goes further long to Henry, who just stops and then pops the ball back for Robbie. Robbie then wide to Mackay. Mackay out the back door to Vicona. Fancy stuff from Bradford. Pretty effective too. They're inching closer. And Peacock just held on and drives the ball in towards the try line. They're 3 metres away. Lowe's. Back it goes again. Robbie. Short ball, Anderson.
Oh, he's
Lost it on the bounce.
Great tackle there from Stevenson, the big fella, the try scorer, seconds before half-time. Look at Stevenson get his shoulder into it there. Excellent. Ooh, was it dragged out though? But look at this. How's this for cheeky? He attracted Dennis Betts, but you could see that the Wigan defence were not going to be sucked into it. I think that passage of play is the first time we've seen the 2 halfbacks, the 2 Paul brothers, actually combine throughout the game.
Renouf takes the tackle from Robbie Paul. Still no sign of Paul Deacon. How long will it be? Apparently he's been up and down the touchline once or twice, jogging.
Look on. This could be the opportunity. This is where they should turn the screw, the first mistake of the game.
Well, Newton's had a faultless game to date.
He really has been playing out of his skin and was by far the champion in the first half. And this error. Now then, what will they do? Will they use the big fella?
Here he is. Now it's with Henry. Good run from Henry. Siding run from Henry Paul. gives it to Leon Price. Great defence. This time Dallas and Johnson again.
Confident run there from Robbie Paul. They needed that.
Withers.
Oh, that's good smothering defence. They came off the blocks, forced them into a tight angle. Bad pass. Will they get away with it?
They have, because Robbie Paul was first to react and he's trying to get the pass away, but Dennis Betts has him all wrapped up. It's James Lowes. Now it's Lee Radford. Big collision. These forwards working hard, both sides. Bradford trying to drill holes in the defence. Anderson. Oh, he flicked it.
Back to 6.
It is 6 more. Rigon.
More pressure.
Bradford fans behind those sticks, screaming at their players. Lowes, back it goes, but Gilmore was standing still and lost his way.
And lost the ball, but it went backwards.
It's going to be 6 to go again. Peacock, Henry Paul, just short.
Great tackle from Ferner, he's dropped it. That'll be a penalty. It was interference. Quick turn.
Withers. Good defence from Wigan this time. Carney and Renoff. Well, this pressure from Bradford is enormous. Mackay.
Great defence.
Vicona. Running flat. Back it goes. And they were thinking of the interception there. This is Radford again. Good defence from Wigan, though. They are swarming round the ball carrier. Lee Gilmore. Wrestled to the ground by David Ferner. Radford again. Robbie Paul. Out the back. Brother Henry. Fielden. No way through.
They're forcing him to one passage of the play. That's good defence, but there's some awful passing there from Bradford. They're panicking, and that's another panic pass. Danger has gone. Red light is off. On goes the green.
Well,
and Brian Noble must be kicking himself yet again.
Well, they were panicking, but let's give credit to the Wigan defence. It was magnificent then.
Of course, but you've got to have composure. He knows it as well. Can't score off every single play, and the Wigan defence coming out quickly, forcing them down that central channel.
Lamb has gone for a 40-20. He's going to get it if it bounces kindly, but it's a wide pitch, this. And Withers.
Now that kick is the key to this game, and that's why I'm surprised that Brian Noble has not brought on the specialist kicker Paul Deacon. Bradford need a good kicking game to get back. They've got to keep turning Wigan around.
There's a great run from Withers that has got Bradford back into this position, just 40 metres away from the Wigan try line. Henry Paul wants to get on with it. Here is Paul Anderson. Henry Paul again takes over. Brother Robbie now. Lovely ball back on the inside. Rigon. They keep the ball alive to Lowes.
Oh, great defence again. They wrestle him to the ground.
They just hunt, don't they?
What a competition that's been. Jimmy Lowes against Terry Newton. Newton taking it by a long shot.
That's the 4th tackle. Henry Paul. Fielden. That's the last. They're still 20 metres away. Lowes attacking. Dabs the ball.
Complete waste of an opportunity. And that shows you why you've got to get out a specialist kick it out there. That should have been lobbed up into the air. Put the pressure yet again. It was easy meat there for the fullback Redlinski.
Wigan bring it back again, this time with Johnson. Now it's Bradford's turn to hunt the ball carrier.
It's getting tasty. There's some big hits coming up. Oh.
Stevenson driving it in. Radford, Anderson, and also Rigon in there to bring him down. Farrell. They haven't wrapped the ball up. Ferner comes in to add a little bit of weight to proceedings. That's the last tackle. Good defence now from Bradford. Knock on from Farrell. He lost control of the ball as he got to his feet.
It wasn't
not too impressed, but I think the officials got it right. Yep. Dragged it back. Well spotted. The skipper just urging his players on.
Help out here, he says. He knows there's another wave of blue attackers coming at him. Farrell rallying his troops. Paul Anderson coming to the sideline. Is this the moment for Paul Deacon? No. It's Brian McDermott who's going to come back on.
Well, it's obvious that Brian Noble is confident that his power play, the big forwards, can pave the path for success. I'm not so sure. I think more zip in and around the rucks, especially just one wide of it.
Henry Paul, Robbie Paul, Graham Mackay, great tackling run off. Robbie Paul, Henry Paul, Brian McDermott, good tackling Betts and Howard. Doing a great job, this Wigan defence so far. Here is Jamie Peacock, and still they just drive it in, trying to batter Wigan into submission. Lowe's, scampering run. Henry Paul, away from Betts. Short ball to Mackay. Still going, the big fella Mackay. 8 metres away from the line, Bradford. Lowe's looking this way. It's with McDermott. Back to Lowe's. Long ball to Robbie. Robbie looking. Fielden. Good tackling again.
No dummy runners to confuse the defence. They're just waiting for the Wigan, and that's another mistake. It was a forward pass anyway. Gilmore couldn't get to it. Stuart Raper looking quite anxious. Not what the doctor ordered, and this is the expression Brian Noble knows. Time and time again they've squandered the opportunity.
Steve, my mind goes back to the grand final of '99, Bradford St Helens.
Well, he's got a man, I know we keep saying it, but he's got a man on the bench that is a fully fledged international. They need something out there, something different, something that Wigan have not yet seen.
What a run from Harvey Howard. Nearly bounced Shane Ribbon out of the stadium then.
Like a lump of concrete on wheels, wasn't he?
Lovely run.
Beautiful play.
Radlinski is in for the hat-trick. Radlinski over for the hat-trick. Wonderful play, set up by the driving run from Harvey Howard. Matthew Jones took a hand in it, and Radlinski comes up with the hat-trick. And I think Terry Newton has passed every ball to Chris Radlinski, and he's on his feet. Stuart Raper, he's barking the instructions down to Billy McGinty on the side, and they're all on their feet in Wigan's colours. Radlinski's come up with a hat-trick. A wonderful effort from Wigan. They resisted and resisted. There's Billy McGinty, the Scottish international coach, will be with his team in France on Tuesday. But this is club business at Super League level, at the highest level, and Radlinski has come up, and this is the reward.
The impact there, it sucks in the defenders. There was two coming back, look, they were in a cluster there. John steps back on the inside. Who else? Newton, the provider. Newton's playing out of his skin, so's this guy. Hat-trick time. Watch the step here from Johns. He's been criticised, myself included, in the fact that he's not taken on the defence. He certainly did on that occasion. Maybe the confidence has come back to the international Matthew Johns. Creates this try, and here he comes.
But is
this
it
is
too
a throw
late?
of the dice.
But is it too late? Andrew Farrell, 5 from 5, in fine form with the boot. Still 100% with the boot. And Wigan 32-12. Deacon on, but Bradford now 20 in arrears. And Radlinski has just claimed his 5th Wigan hat-trick. And Stuart Raper, well, he really has transformed, wouldn't be the word, but he has done something to this Wigan side since he came here. They look even hungrier.
That was a sensational try. Talk about making an old hooker smile. 3 passes from Newton, 3 tries for Radlinski.
And Billy
Boy, oh
McGinty
boy.
is smiling as well.
They've every right to. But I'm with you, Eddie. Has the throw of the dice come too late? Paul Deacon.
Well, he's got 25 minutes or thereabouts to make a mark. Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie, you might have been wondering what was going on in that conversation between Stuart Raper and Billy McGinty down on the touchlines, and the basic instruction was for Billy to tell the players just to play smart football from here on in. Keep it sweet, keep it steady, don't let the balls get another sniff like that.
Got a sniff here. Vicona will score. Vicona's over. Bradford aren't done yet. It was a sniff of a half chance. And the big Tongan scores his 130th try in the British game. Previously with Hull, now the Bulls. Phew! have been more important than this.
Well, was this overconfidence? Newton passed a hard pass to Farrell. Vicona swoops on it. He had the speed, no doubt about it. But look at the amount of room that they were allowing there. Radlinski was hunting for his 4th try. In the meantime, Vicona was on his way to say, hey, come on, guys, we're not out of this yet.
Tavita Vicona. Oh, and he's on a roll. I think the Super League record is 9. 9 consecutive try-scoring appearances. That's in his sights. Henry Paul adds the extras. 32-18. Game on for Bradford at Wigan. Can they fight back? Phil Clark, can Bradford come back from this?
Well, if Paul Deacon does get them back from this, they'll rename him Harry Houdini because it'll be one of the greatest escapes ever. I really struggle to see, though, how that minor slip-up from Wigan, I don't think they'll let that happen again. They have been completely dominant. There was about a 14-minute period, though, where you remember Bradford attacking the Wigan line, perhaps lacking a little bit of patience. It's easy sitting on the sideline saying that, but they really did from here just seem to want to calm down a little bit. Whatever that's taken out of Wigan defensively, the next 20 minutes will show us, I suppose. And we've always said from day one, have they got the strength and to live? Although there's a bit of strength to here.
Yes, I'm afraid that Paul Johnson just launched himself at Brian McDermott. And the referee's got a job to do, and I wonder what he will do. I think he might go on report this.
I don't think he'll send him off, but it was definitely a high shot. He's a big fella, right into the mush, right onto the jaw. It certainly was a swing. Maybe on that slow replay there may have been contact on the chest first. Either way, he finished up, and that could save him.
And it's on report. Others will make the decision. Russell Smith has placed the incident on report with Paul Johnson. He seemed to...
That's a good decision by referee Smith. First, he sort of just indicated some of the players he thought that first impact was on the chest. That's better.
Fielden.
That's what they need. More of that. That's got to be a penalty.
Well, it's about
Bring
time.
the captain.
Yes, he's going to. It's about time the referee warned both sides here.
Well, I'm sure that Stuart Raper got the message down when Vicona raced away for the try. Let's just calm it down a little bit.
Next one, you might not be so lucky.
They're on the warning. They're on a warning. Stuart Raper, well, he saw his team last week nearly toss the victory away at St Helens. Who'd be a coach? Bradford ahead on the penalty count. And here they come.
That's why I took my life sentence and started working with you, Eddie.
Lowe's will go the short way to Price. And Leon Price be the match winner for the Bulls.
They got the tails up.
They're running now. Lowe's. This is Fielden.
They've got to work for each other. There's no dummy runners. They've got to try to confuse the Wigan defence.
Lowe's. McDermott!
Oh, great play by Radlinski. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, now it's a decision. Was he completed the tackle, Radlinski?
Yes.
Was he still moving?
First time, Dave.
Well, it's a big call, this. This is a huge call.
I think Radlinski has stopped him there, and then he moves. That, to me, is a second movement. And even then, he just gets it down there.
Well, Bradford fans are celebrating. They think it's a try.
I don't, and I'll go for NOTRY on this one. I think that Radlinski brought it to a halt. Slow motion, it's always confusing. Gets it there.
And he's still moving.
Oh, I'm not so sure.
He was wriggling and squirming. It's a big call, this.
Is it ever?
Well, you've gone no try then, yeah?
Yep.
No. I'm saying nothing. They've got to see it at normal speed, I think, first before they make any... Here it is.
That's stopped.
Yeah.
Half a second, doesn't matter.
That was a millisecond.
Doesn't matter, he's stopped.
You sure?
Yeah. One movement, that is a stop.
Oh, I'm not so sure.
Let's take my house on this one.
That's it, you better ring the wife and kids, they're on their way out.
No way. I have been wrong before, of course.
Yes, you have. Now you're backtracking now.
But I have had a pretty good record this year.
Well, you
99%. And I'm going to back myself on this one.
So the The Stevenson family will hold its breath because they could be homeless in a minute. Brian McDermott, everybody's eyes are on the big screen. What's the decision? Get the mortgage out, get the deeds ready. Steve-O's on the move.
Empty the swimming pool. Don't leave it full.
Brian McDermott gets the nod. The England international. Maybe he's been called into the squad. Maybe he will get his first cap. Brian McDermott, and he's just made, and so is the video ref. Steve-O, you're homeless, son.
Not only that, once that pool is emptied, at least I'll get him back with the water rates.
Henry Paul adds the extras. They're fighting back. It's 32-24. We've got another classic. Who would have ever doubted it anyway? McDermott with the try.
Changing tactics. No longer the power play. They've been swinging the ball around a la Wigan fashion in the first half. And they paid the price. They've got it. They're back in it.
2 in 5 minutes. And Brian McDermott, the man who was omitted from the World Cup, now has his international chance because he's in the England squad for that international against France at the end of next month. And here he comes again.
Well, Stuart Raper will not be happy with the officials. Remember, he claimed that Dallas had knocked on when on the replays it looked as though he hadn't, and that allowed Bradford to score their first try when Withers went over. I honestly feel that that should not have been a try. Video referee has gone with them.
28-20, Leeds are on the fight back trail at the Jungle.
Thrillers all around.
Just like last week. McDermott, Fielden. Bradford now.
Hang on to the ball, Bradford. This is where the Deacon comes into it. The kick has to be important.
And there it is.
He's done a good one. He's split the full-back and the winger.
But how good's the chase?
Great. Wigan have got the wobbles at the moment. And a big decision to make by their skipper, Andrew Farrell, and the coach, Stuart Raper. Do they close shop? Hang on, still plenty of time to go. Surely they won't do that.
This is Carney. Oh, he's a jack in the box. He's away from another. He's away from another, but not from the next two.
Well, they must have beaten 5 then. At about 2 metres.
He's claiming he was smacked in the face as well. Here's Farrell.
Now will Wigan drive down and go for the one-pointer?
Little dab over the top.
Oh, it's taken out.
Doesn't matter, it's going to be play on. Newton just couldn't get the ball away. Withers with the tackle. Last tackle, they're running it, Wigan. Betts on the inside to Newton. Newton still. Oh, he stopped turning. Where are the defenders? It goes back to Lamb. He stabbed it to the in-goal area, and that is too deep.
Well, what about the penalty? The Wigan fans don't like it. Okay, Russell Smith, the official, allowed play on. But there's little doubt in my mind
it was Radlinski.
Lamb was taken out. Radlinski, I mean, when he was coming through, no doubt about it. Stuart Fielden took a step across. Wigan came over the football.
I don't think Fielden got him. I think it was Peacock. Anyway, whoever, he certainly went down in a heap. Well, hey, if you can take your eyes off the screen for a minute, make your votes now for man of the match. 09 009 10 10 13 15 50 92 35 56 for Republic of Ireland viewers. And here come Bradford again with Mackay. 2 grand final tickets for you. A watch for the man of the match here. And high drama to come for a quarter of an hour. Henry Paul's kick is dead in goal. Well, Wigan now are starting to plod a bit, and so are Bradford. The match last Friday has surely taken a bit out of Wigan.
Well, they wobbled somewhat around about the same time against Saints, didn't they?
Joe Vanganar has returned for Bradford. That's not a pretty sight, I would think, if you're the opposition. The match is there for the winning.
Well, I'll be looking certainly at the one-pointer. Just play safe and short. Trying to get into a position. Oh, he's lost it.
Stolen.
hand in there. Yeah, right hand from Peacock. Not a time to come up with an infringement like that. It's a lack of concentration.
Mick Cassidy bravely returns to the fray.
But I'm sure it must be going through the mind of the skipper, Andy Farrell, that let's drive in. Okay, they've got the 8-point lead, but let's make it 9, and then go back again, and then make it 10, and even 11.
Newton, here's Cassidy. Wanganara greets him. Wanganara and Lowe's on the grounded Cassidy. Just gets up and plays the ball. Here is Adrian Lamb. Every time Lamb and Johns get the ball, there's panic in the Bradford defence.
Good tackle though from Field, and it had to be.
Farrell looking to win it on his own. Wigan captain, great run. Renoff, back it goes. Here's Lamb again. Now Johns, the other magician. Johns back on the inside to Furner. Furner scores. Lamb and Johns, a winning combination. Add Furner to the mix, and it's magic. And Bradford disputing something with the referee, Russell Smith.
Beautiful time run by the big fella Furner. Wanganara not happy.
I think he's just been given a warning on the run by Russell Smith.
The combination of the two halfbacks. Hesitation. That was a superb offload. Furner read it, absolutely superb. Watch for the delayed pass. Bang. As the defence pulled across to follow Johns, Furner gets in, and this is a reaction from Stuart Raper. And Billy Boston, one of the all-time greats of our game. He's scored some sensational tries throughout his long career, but he certainly enjoyed that one, and none more so than this fella. The combination, the Australian trio.
Well, Lamb's a Papua New Guinean, but I know what you mean.
Well, he did play for Queensland.
Yeah, I know, as I say, I know what you mean. He is the best of British. We've got the two best goal kickers in the business on show here tonight, and Farrell and Henry Paul are proving it. It's now 7 from 7 for Andy Farrell, and it's 4 from 4 for Henry Paul, but more importantly, it's 38-24 Wigan.
Well, the quality of that try, okay. Furner only had to run maybe 10, 12 metres, but the quality of the pass from Matthew Johns to put this fella through was outstanding. And that must really lift Matthew Johns. He's been troubled with injury ever since he arrived here. He really has taken a lot of time. And as I mentioned in the first half, a lot of people, including myself, have been critical that he hasn't taken on the defence. Boy, oh boy, he's done that tonight.
12 minutes to go, the Furner try. Bradford with 2 in 5 minutes look to have it in their sights, but Phil Clark looks like Wigan will hang on now.
Yeah, probably deservedly so. I still think there's a shaky period. Brian Kearney's been excellent for Wigan. So enthusiastic, coming in and helping out. Just takes so much out of your opponents when a player won't accept he's tackled. He bounces out of one and wriggles and makes as many yards as he can. And I think him and Brett Dallas have been very important for Wigan's cause tonight. To come inside, and the players have done a lot of hard work in defence and shed some of the workload.
Harvey Howard's had one of his best games in Wigan colours as well. Another great run. The offload to Adrian Lamb.
Well, he's done his job, Eddie.
Radlinski.
He's gone out there and knew that there was a hard job to do. Remembered at the big run just after the half-time break. And after the restart, he really attracted the... It's a little bit too long there, but he really attracted the defence, which created the opening for Wigan to get up to that flyer when Renouf went in. And Wigan have worked the inside pass to near perfection. They really have worked hard. That's been the difference between the two sides, is that Wigan players without the football have worked hard and confused the Bradford defence. Bradford are very, very lax on the fact that they're working for each other and utilising the dummy runner.
Oh, Wanganara got the ball away somehow to Deakin. But the Wigan defence assembled itself. This is Peacock. Great tackle by Furner. He's been outstanding all year for Wigan.
He's had a fantastic season.
Deacon. Well, players like David Furley, players like David Furner, players like Jason Smith up at Hull have been terrific. Kick his palm back and flicked on, and it's still on the last. And it's with Michael Withers now, still on the last. There's the crossfield kick, but it's a nothing kick. Dallas claims that easily. Oh, he was almost away. Leon Price did well.
This really has been an impressive team effort from the Warriors.
You've got 10 minutes to cast your vote for man of the match. There are the two phone numbers. Carney, as Phil Clark said, has made an important contribution.
It's been an all-round team effort, and that's the difference between the two, as I mentioned, and they wanted to look for work. Most importantly, they've got through their sets of 6. The completion rate has been far greater than Bradford's.
Big deep kick from Andy Farrell. It's going to force Michael Withers to run it back.
That saves a lot of work when you've got a man out there that can kick so deep.
And the chase is fantastic as well. And Betts is working so hard. Here's Withers again. Well, this is these 2 wins. If this turns into a win for Wigan, and last week against Saints, these 2 wins in a week have certainly given note of intent for Stuart Raper's men here at the JJB Stadium this year.
It's fine, David, get up!
Inaugural grand final winners in '98 under John Money, nothing since. And that really has hurt them deeply in this part of the world. But the way they're playing just now, and the fact that they will be back within 2 points of Bradford at the top tonight if they hang on for this win, there's the statement of intent from them. Carney claims the kick.
One major advantage as well that Wigan have produced, it's been in their defensive line. When I say line, it's the angle line of defence. They've come up very quickly out wide. It's like an umbrella defence. They've forced Bradford into a limited space to play with. And it doesn't matter how good a quality you have out there, the 2 Paul brothers.
That was a forward pass.
You know, the likes of Gilmore Mackay. It doesn't matter what you've got out wide. If you're not allowed to get the ball and push it out wide, they're just wasted.
There's the forward pass from Newton to Cowie. Referee taking the nod of his touch judge on this near side. Terry Newton comes off to a rousing round of applause. On goes David Hodgson. And here come Bradford again with Withers. He's through them. Withers is in. Oh, second try for Withers. Blimey, it's not over yet.
Great effort.
It is not over yet.
They went far too high on him then. And he really made a mess of this Wigan defence.
Well, they won't go away, Bradford. They're top of the tree, and they're not there for nothing. Withers with his second try. And Henry Paul adds the extras. They're in a rush to get on with it. And it's 38-30. They've never seemed to get away from them.
Well, you see there that the new Manchester not much chance to get warmed up. Never mind make a tackle, but he went far too high. Withers just swatted him away. And this is a good effort. You can see quite clearly that Chester hesitated. Really should have gone forward, apply the pressure. When you do that, Withers has all the skills, hand off.
Well, 8 points again, the difference, and the important fact now is that clock, and there's 6 minutes and a little to go. And Bradford have been chasing this match from the very first minute, and they are still chasing with 6 to go.
Well, Stuart Raper must be wondering what on earth has happened to his side. They have controlled this game for virtually 80% of the time, and they find themselves in a situation where they're only 8 points in front. Anxious time for the coach.
They are anxious moments for him.
And full credit to the Bradford Bulls when it looked as though it were going to be all over 3 or 4 times during this game, especially with seconds remaining in the first half, but they just will not lie down.
Robbie Paul, Graham Mackay. He gets the ball away by Kona. He releases it. Wigan have it. Did it? No. Withers has it.
Went back.
And the touch judge crossed his arms across his chest and says, play on.
It was a good call.
And Bradford are with Henry Paul. He feeds Gilmore.
No support.
Great tackle, Hodgson.
Looks like Henry Paul, is it?
It is. He was clattered.
What a take there. What a match. Rydlinski hat-trick. But has been superb under the high ball.
I was going to say, a hat-trick and faultless in defence. Renoff takes his time. And Leeds fought back, but not enough. Castleford have won against the Rhinos. Oh, I tell you what, it's in the melting pot, this top five. Banganar misses Cowie. Cowie dumps the ball back to Chester. Chester gets it away to Cassidy. Cassidy gets it away to Lamb. And Fielden drills Lamb into the deck. Last tackle. Farrell just dinks it over the top. Will find touch with that. What a good kick. What a good kick that is with 76 minutes gone.
Well, you know, there's many a person, many a fan tries to tell me that forward don't have any brains. I'm going to show you they do, especially this fella here, Andy Farrell. He knows that this will eat up the clock. He knows the confidence that is running through the veins of his side. They're still hanging on to that 8 points, and he knows if he can just get their defence solid now, that's what he will be harping out to his men now. Come on, look at that.
But note that the clock in the corner has been stopped by Russell Smith because Wigan just plodded up to the scrum. So he's being fair by Bradford, is the referee. And here is Gilmore, but Chester and Hodgson. Fresh legs for Wigan. Now Henry Paul. Leon Price to take on David Hodgson. Good defence.
He did well there, Price. Looked for all the world he was going over the whitewash.
And here's Price again.
Well, they need something special, but as in the dummy half at the moment is Henry Paul. Not the best pass.
To brother Robbie, now on to Deacon. Wide it goes to Fielden. Good defence from Adrian Lamb. Deacon again. A scampering run. Long pass out wide. Good ball too to Gilmore. Here they come. Henry Paul over the top. Gilmore hangs on and then loses it. Radlinski has it back. Betts, Lamb, Johns, still, thought about the pass, Anderson dropped on him. Farrell to halfway. Cassidy, Cowie, punishing run. Bradford swarming round the Wigan ball carrier. Time is not of the essence for them. Betts.
Now then, Andy is calling for the football.
And he's about 40 metres out, which is his range for drop goals. They come this way, though, with Lamb. Lamb, back it goes to Chester. Chester, it goes on to Betts. On it goes then to David Furner. There is Dennis Betts. And there is the match for Wigan and Stuart Raper. You cannot deny movement of high quality, and Wigan produced it then to finally kill off the challenge of the Bradford Bulls. Furner magnificent tonight. Lamb and Johns at the heartbeat. Chester coming on and playing his part as a sub. Farrell, of course, has been the orchestra, or the orchestrator from the start, and Betts with the finishing touch.
What about the confidence there? Chester played his part. Lamb provided to Chester. Betts moving into Furner. He gave it to him. Furner gave it back. He'll take the accolades. What a game this guy's had. Adrian Lamb. There's so many stars out on this Wigan side. They've played their hearts out. No more so than this fella. Furner on to Betts. The crowd loved that. So did I. That was something special.
Well, he's won just about every honour that this game can possibly give you as Dennis Betts. He's in his 31st year, and Andy Farrell remains faultless with the boot, and Wigan have got the match now. 44 points to 30, a high-scoring affair, but it hasn't been touch and pass. There's been none of that in this. It's been a real hard-fought battle from start to finish. And although he's been there, seen it and done it and got the t-shirt just about everywhere around the world, Dennis Betts will relish this moment as much as any of the youngsters around him. And you see what it means to them.
I think this is a performance that not only will please Stuart Raper, but all the Wigan fans, but more importantly the Wigan players themselves. The confidence that they've shown today has been outstanding, and they will fancy themselves for being there at Grand Final day.
Well, he has been through the full gamut of emotions. A hat-trick for Chris Radlinski. Andy Farrell has led his men brilliantly again. It's the second big win for Wigan in 7 days. And Wigan, well, they have closed the gap on Bradford. Castleford have closed the gap on Leeds. It's not been a bad night for Stuart Raper. His old club's won, and his new club's won as well. Wigan have won a frantic and fantastic match at the top of the Tetley Super League by 44 points to 30.